What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the My Parents Office podcast. I am your host, Andrew Diaz. Today we got episode 132 of the show, brought to you by Student Union Sports. Today we've got Oscars talk. We had an Oscars draft. And then obviously the news, really everything has been foreshadowed, or not foreshadowed, but kind of glossed over with the whole Chris Rock, Will Smith situation. So we'll get into that as well. And then the news about Chael Sonnen. But before we get into that, make sure you follow us on social media at My Parents Office on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. My Parents Office podcast on Facebook, and Articles from the Office on Substack. Got Brett with me again this week. Excited to do a little Oscars talk, and then obviously the Sonnens stuff came up with. I want to talk to you about it because you're a fan of him. So, how are you, Brett?
I'm doing good, bud. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm not too bad right now. I'm excited. I think Oscars is a fun thing to talk about, so I am excited to do this draft.
I mean, start off with the slap heard around the world. I know we didn't talk about that just now, but or felt around the world.
Yeah. So when I first saw the slap, I didn't see any context. I just saw like the picture of him of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. I thought like, oh, maybe this is like a joke or something. And then you see everything that occurs before it, which before it is really nothing. If you ask me, it was a harmless, outdated, not super funny, just kind of throwaway joke that didn't really deserve a slap. And then after, I think, is almost worse than the slap. What Will Smith does after, where he's screaming back at Chris Rock, looks worse. He's an absolute lunatic doing it. I think that's almost crazier than the slap, is him sitting in the chair screaming, "Keep my wife's fucking name out of your mouth." I think that was the wildest part. Is it also confirmed that was a real slap and not a playful, friendly one. So I don't know what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny seeing the some celeb, like I sent you that Doug Ellen one yesterday.
Yeah,
it's funny seeing certain actors that are like sympathetic toward Chris Rock in that situation, and the ones that are like going Will Smith. Like the ones that are supporting Will Smith in that are the ones that you're not surprised are. Like I saw yesterday Nicki Minaj was like supporting Will Smith. Like she's an idiot. Like I don't know. There's no reasoning that your first instinct in front of millions of people from a very harmless joke is to get up. Honestly, in some regards, a compliment for like, I know like the biggest thing was like referencing the hair, but from a badass character, it's not like calling her Mr. Clean or something.
Right. And it was also like,
which would be funny.
It's a dumb movie that was like, came out like 20 years ago. Like it wasn't like he harped on it either. He didn't like bury it with the joke. It was literally, I see Jada here. I'm excited for G.I. Jane 2. And that was literally it. Like it was literally, that was all. And I mean, if we're being real, alopecia is not stage 4 cancer.
No,
it's a balding disease that like if a guy had alopecia would get shit on. Like if a guy was balding like that, they'd probably get shit on or nobody would say anything about it. One comedian makes a joke about Jada Smith having it. And like, I think what's funnier about it is Will Smith was laughing at first and then kind of got like the side eye from Jada that was like, are you not going to do anything about it?
Dude, she sucks.
She is the worst. And a lot of people pulled up a thing like she posted a couple of weeks ago or maybe a week ago. It was a TikTok where she was like, yeah, I know people will make fun of me. Like, I don't care about that stuff. And then you get made fun of in front of millions of people watching, and like you give your husband a side eye to go kind of like defend your honor is definitely a weird thing.
Of course, that's contradicting yourself, but Will Smith, his contradiction was so much worse. Like him sitting back down after that whole thing, and then having the acceptance award for Actor of the Year.
Yeah.
But then the majority of his speech is like, you know, actors, we get shit on, but we just kind of suck it up and just like say, okay, that kind of thing. That's totally a 180 from what he did. Like your whole speech was pretty much like, you just got to love. You got to
Mhm.
love everyone. You just got to take the abuse, whatever. But then how are you going to say that like in front of millions of people moments after pretty much in some words, compliment, and then
Yeah.
literally just smack the shit out of somebody on stage, literally assault. Like if anybody else does that, they're gonna arrest them.
Yeah,
Like
and it's honestly, I think what's her name? Jada Smith actually looks good with a bald head. Like she looks really pretty with it. Like I think few and far women can pull that off. She looks very pretty with that look. So it's also another thing. Like I don't know. She looks good with it. It's just a whole weird thing, and it also the next layer with it is the whole how they're in an open relationship and everybody had that like knew that Jada I guess quote unquote cheated on Will Smith and like
entanglement.
there's the video of him like crying, which makes it just way worse now, this entire situation. So now people are just like all over him, and it is a funny point that Will Smith gets mad when somebody makes fun of his wife, but you can sleep with his wife all you want, and
It
there's
doesn't do shit. You've
really
seen
no
those
issue.
memes?
So I
Yeah.
definitely think that's funny.
Yeah, dude. I've seen like 15 memes at this point that it's like uh someone sleeps with Will Smith's wife, it's just Will Smith with a straight face.
Yeah.
Somebody insults Will Smith's wife, and it's like just that image of him like yelling at Chris Rock. Like, what an idiot. Like,
It,
it doesn't take away my total like perception of Will Smith. I still like him, or from
yeah.
like obviously we don't know him, but our public perception of him, I like him. It was just a
Mhm.
really dumb decision. And if you're getting that angry, like I don't even know if he what it's weird that he was angry though, because it's
Yeah.
weird to just like because you laughed at the joke, but then you were angry. It's not like you sat back down and you were just like fine. He was angry. So it's just weird to get that fumed. Like he needs therapy.
Yeah, it was just I mean, it's a bizarre scene because it's one of the most famous actors of possibly all time and one of the most iconic TV shows. One of the probably most talented guys. He's been in movies, TV, and done music. And then you have one of the best comedians of all time. Like, in what world would you ever think that one of the most iconic actors slash performers would be slapping one of the most famous comedians on stage at an award show? Nobody could have guessed that. So, I mean, this was
That
definitely probably the most entertaining Oscars of the past few years, and just absolutely swallowed like Coda winning Best Picture, and really it does swallow Will Smith actually winning an Oscar too. I think that completely gets washed away. People do bring it up that the Academy may revoke his Oscar or ban him from the Oscars, but nobody really cares about that. Everybody's just paying attention to uh, that slap. That's literally what is going to be remembered from this Oscars, and maybe it's going to be a top 3 Oscar moment of all time. Probably number 1.
yeah. Um yeah, with what you were just saying, like I don't know if you saw Daniel Cormier's tweet where it was like very hard to surprise me nowadays, but watching Will Smith slap the shit out of Chris Rock is very surprising. Like you just said, like in what world do you see that happening?
It's
I'm actually
baffling.
amazed that this happened. You could see the moment Will started to feel played.
Yeah, it was just absolutely baffling to watch. Because it came out like progressively slower and slower on social media. Like it started with just the slap, and then the people that were watching in America, like I guess it pretty much blurred out the actual
they
yelling after, and
they
then
cut the
people,
audio after the slap.
yeah, and then people in I think Australia were able to pick up the actual yelling, or maybe another
Um,
country.
the first, so I woke up and the first thing I saw was the Japanese version. So it was
Okay.
like after each line that was said, it was like a Japanese dub over.
Those are the
So
greatest for like the debates when it's like after the Trump Biden one a few years ago. There was they I watched like a clip of that, and it's literally like 8 people talking because you have the Japanese translator over Trump and Biden and like the mediator talking. So there's so many other voices, you just have no clue what's going on. It's pretty hilarious.
I love it. Um,
So yeah, do you have anything else to add to that? I mean, because other than that, I think there's not much more to say other than that was just absolutely wild.
No, that's about it. I just think it's kind of annoying that last night I saw like one article that was like Adam Sandler and David Spade are showing their support for Chris Rock. Like Chris Rock doesn't really need your support in this because
No.
nobody's like thinking of him as the bad guy in this.
Yeah, no, and it's not like Rock's getting canceled. Nobody's getting canceled in this. Like, there's not a cancel element when in reality Will Smith should be getting arrested for assault. Or I mean, if I'm Chris Rock, if I know I understand what he's doing by not pressing charges. He's kind of letting it go and just not really caring about it, which I think is a cool thing. But I mean, if I were him, I would have rolled out and done a press conference the next day with a neck brace on. I would have like
Yeah.
had somebody do up makeup that made my face look mangled and just like pressed a bunch of charges. I think that would have been hilarious because Will Smith would have obviously been rattled. And if you can get under his skin with just a G.I. Jane joke about his wife, a press conference pressing charges on him, and then probably ending up dropping him later down the line would be awesome. It would be so funny.
Yeah. I mean, I know you don't follow MMA so much, but I don't know if you heard about the Colby Covington Masvidal thing from about a week ago.
Yeah, I saw. So Covington was like coming out of a restaurant, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah. So
pretty much got jumped.
yeah. Yeah. So Covington was at a steakhouse in Miami, and I think he was with like the Nelk Boys or something.
Mhm.
And so he was like on their social media and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's how later on it came out that some dude pretty much gave away where he was or something. I don't know. But he goes outside and somebody with a mask on, pretty much like you said, jumped Masvidal, jumped Colby with just hitting a bunch of times and then just dipped, just ran away. That same night, Masvidal put like a video up saying like, haha, like it was I, but just some dumb shit. But then compared to the Chris Rock thing, Colby pressed charges.
Yeah, and I honestly don't blame him. Like
No, me neither.
I understand. I do understand why guys don't. I like Colby Covington. I understand why people don't like him. He's not a
I
very
like him too.
likable character. If you really don't like him. But you know, I think that's really like a scummy thing to do is run up on him like that when he's.
It's so soft.
It's that's not what it should be, and like it obviously it makes fireworks. Like people do like to see it in some form or fashion because it just builds up hype around Covington fighting. But
well, it's comedic because they fought like 3 weeks ago and Masvidal had 25 minutes to do what he wanted to him, but got his ass kicked.
And then you need to run up on him when he's coming out of a steakhouse with his friends or family or something, and you need to jump him like that. But yeah, I don't blame him for pressing charges. The Will Smith thing is
it is different. It wasn't a punch.
It's different, but then again, it's not. Like Chris Rock is like. What's different about it, I think, is that like so many people watched an assault happen that Covington one like was
and did nothing.
It was secluded, kind of like it was just his friends, like the people that were around him there. This one was in front of millions of people watching, and the probably 1,000 that were actually there, like getting awards or at the award ceremony. So that is what is I think the most baffling is millions of people watch an assault occur. And just nothing happened.
Was that the first normal Oscar since COVID?
Ooh.
I feel like last year's was no spectators, if not very limited.
I think last year was limited. It was like a mix of like, I think a lot of people might have been there via like Zoom or had somebody else get an award for them, something like in that, sort of like that. But I don't think it was fully back to normal.
No, I don't think so either. So, I mean, good way to introduce it back to normality.
They'll get more people watching next year. I mean, it would be great if they just had Chris Rock host it next year. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the first person who I saw posted the slap as soon as I woke up on Monday was Dana White saying this was the best Oscars in years.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts on the people saying like it's fake? That was like even the people like after the fact, after they hear Will Smith yelling, after they hear the joke, and pretty much all context is given where you're like, that's not fake. The people.
So the only thing you can really think of for anything like that being fake is like a publicity stunt but it has to look good on somebody.
But
Like,
if for a publicity stunt like that though, like if it was done, I think about it. People were trying to say it was a rating stunt to get more people to watch. It was so far into the actual
yeah.
award show. Like if you're watching, you're already watching, and people aren't
And
turning. And if people do turn it back on, they're turning it back on for 5 minutes to see what happens after, or to even another 15 to see Will Smith get his Oscar, and then they're done watching. You're not captivating people for another 2 hours to watch the rest of your award show.
and just nobody looked good out of it.
No,
Like
not at all.
Chris Rock did, I guess, professionalism.
But like Rock still looks rattled a little bit. Like his wording. I mean, I don't blame him, but his wording, like when he would talk about like the next awards coming up, he clearly sounded shaky. I mean, he just got slapped. So
yeah, I mean, I think he said and sounded better than I think 90% of actors would have handled that situation.
Oh, definitely.
But
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. But I mean, nobody looked good out of it besides like potential. The only good thing out of it is like people are talking about it, but people are talking about it for the bad reasons.
Yeah.
Like nobody's like one of the best conversations that should have came out of the Oscars is the first or second deaf actor coming out of the dude from Coda who won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
Like that should have been getting more conversation out of the Oscars than Chris Rock and Will Smith. But unfortunately, that's not the reality.
Yeah. And that's definitely a bummer. Like I think I watched Coda. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I'm not a first. I wasn't like it's not one I'm gonna go back and watch. But I mean, it was a good movie.
I loved it. It's I've been following that movie for a while because it was filmed in Massachusetts. So I knew about that movie just when it was getting into Sundance. Like I've been waiting to see that movie.
Yeah.
So it's good to see. It's cool to see a New England movie, and it's cool to see like. I feel like Best Picture has never been like the most famous movie coming out that year. It's normally like indie-esque. Like looking at the past few.
Well, I also think Best Picture has been the most missed upon category. I think Best Actor and Actress, they hit the nail on the head most years, and same with Director. But I think if you look at the movies that get missed out on, like they're from 2010 to to now, there's at least, I think, in my opinion, 8 to 7 misses on what wins. And it's more of they go that indie route or like that artsy route, like with an Argo, the artist, when there I think are better movies. And like it's I think almost a snobby thing with the Academy where it's like we won't nominate a really good comedy or a great superhero movie won't get nominated for Best Picture when it's a good movie. It's a entertaining movie, it's a fun movie, and it's one that people enjoyed. Not a lot of people probably enjoyed The Artist as much as they did Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, I promise I'm not saying this in like a negative way, but I feel like Best Picture has kind of been like the wokest category.
It has been
in the last decade. And I'm not saying that in a bad way.
I don't think Coda was, and I don't really think Nomadland was, but I mean, if you're going like,
oh, I don't know. What I mean by that, I don't mean like LGBTQ. I just mean like even out of the norm. Like it's not like a very white male dominated film. Like
well, that's
even
how, I think 2017 is the best example with The Shape of Water winning. Like, my opinion, not a great movie. And maybe other people like it better, but I think Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing was a tremendous movie. I thought that was a great movie, along with Dunkirk is one of the best war movies to come out. And you had Get Out come out that same year and get nominated. So those, I think, are three movies that are better than The Shape of Water. But The Shape of Water has this artsy element to it, this more depth to it that the Academy understands, but the normal person doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to see that director win Best Picture because I do like him. But even the year prior, Moonlight, like, again, I'm not saying these things in a bad way because I love Moonlight. But if you think of other films that came out in 2016, like La La Land, for example, like I bet a lot more people liked and saw La La Land more than Moonlight. But I love Moonlight, and I probably
that would go the same year with Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, and Manchester by the Sea. That's a great movie year, and Fences too.
Yeah, like Moonlight, LGBTQ, African American, protagonist, but
Yep.
beautiful film. Love the film, but I just feel like, again, I'm not saying this in a bad way,
Yep.
but it just seems like that's what they're kind of been doing recently.
Before we get into the draft, I do want to point out I'm looking at 2013, the movies that were nominated, and I think this might be the most stacked movie year. Where
What
like
year?
2013, I think you could make an argument for every movie. The only two I wouldn't make an argument for are Nebraska and Philomena, but 12 Years a Slave is a great movie. American Hustle is a good movie. Captain Phillips, very good. Dallas Buyers Club is one of my favorite movies of all time. Wolf of Wall Street, another one. Gravity and Her are also awesome. All of those were nominated along with Nebraska and Philomena. I think that year, just by sheer star power and just how good those movies were, is so good that like any of those movies could have won. I wouldn't have been disappointed. There are ones I obviously wish had won, but like I wish Dallas Buyers Club won or The Wolf of Wall Street, but 12 Years a Slave coming out of that stacked class is just so awesome. But just an awesome movie year.
12 Years a Slave is the only one I haven't seen out of that list.
It's not my favorite from that, but I understand. I respect it winning. Like I don't have an issue with it like in other years. Like when Argo won, I think Django or Zero Dark 30 should have won. But the 2013 year, I think 12 Years a Slave deserved to win.
Yeah, I think Django and Zero Dark 30 are kind of like, I mean, you can say that about a lot of the films that even won Best Picture, but I think those two films have a bit of like a niche people that would kind of see those. Like Django, there's a specific type of person that watches Tarantino movies, but and I love Tarantino movies. Zero Dark 30, I feel like more people who either people that would watch anything or people that are more interested in those like war setting kind of films.
All right. So are you good? You good to go for the draft?
Yeah.
All right. So we're doing an Oscars draft, 4 rounds, no specific order. We're staying within the years of 2000 and currently. We're doing 1 Best Picture, 1 Best Actor, 1 Best Actress, and 1 Best Director. Brett, I will give you the first overall pick. Start where you want to start.
All right. Want to start with go through 2002 to 2022, just so we do 2 decades?
Yeah, that works. So 22, so 02 to 22. That works for me.
All right. So, and we're just going with like everything that's won, right? Like we're not going to pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll start with best pick. Yep. So I'm going to go with, what year was it? Sorry. 2007's No Country for Old Men for Best Picture.
That was gonna be my pick.
That was your pick?
Yeah, I love No Country for Old Men.
Big Coen Brothers fan. No Country for Old Men. I love those kind of films that. So I've been watching The Wire, as you know, and one of the cool things about The Wire is it shows the 2 perspectives. Like, there's 2 sets of main characters. One set is like the law authority, so like the detectives, the people who are watching and listening to said wire, and then the I don't want to say criminal. I mean, they're criminals, but then it kind of gives like the light on like their side of the story, kind of. No Country for Old Men, kind of the same thing, where it's kind of weird because even the protagonist, quote unquote, in that film, he's pretty much a guy that stole money. Like he's not.
No one in that movie other than like Tommy Lee Jones is a good guy.
No, but you're like you know the clear bad guy, which makes you kind of think of the other guy as the good guy. But
I mean, you're rooting for Josh Brolin's character to escape in that, but you honestly like. There's no bad guy in movies that like I've respected and like kind of also feared at the same time, like Anton in that. That is a scary character because he doesn't move fast. He's always limping around. He's got this cow air, like this air compressor.
It's so cool.
When he kills the first guy, when he pulls him over, it was I was like so confused. I went back and rewatched that scene like 3 times. I was just baffled by it. That was gonna be my pick. I love that movie. It's an awesome movie.
Yeah, I mean, I should probably watch some of his previous stuff, but I feel like Javier Bardem has blown up since that movie.
He was nominated this year
Yeah, he was.
for being the Ricardos.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it either, but I was looking through it because I was gonna bring up that fact when I picked No Country for Old Men as my best picture. So thank you for stealing that. Jesus. Oh,
Got
I'm
you.
so mad. So I think I'm gonna, with that off the board, I'm gonna go, I think, best actor. There are 2 that I am between right now. I'm gonna go with Matthew McConaughey in 2013 as Ron Woodruff in Dallas Buyers Club.
That was mine.
Oh, what? All right. I think that's just such a great movie. Like his performance that when he's crying in the car is so believable. And just I love his progression through the movie as a character, how he pretty much becomes this high roller in the AIDS community. It's like that's a weird sentence to say, but it's what he becomes in that AIDS community is almost a hero with how long he's kept these people alive and the medicine he's giving to them. He's like a Robin Hood for people with AIDS, I guess. It's a weird movie. I think Jared Leto had one of the great performances in that as a prostitute, like a transgender prostitute in that. I think Leto was great. All around great cast, but McConaughey in that just blows that performance out of the water. I am a little shocked that is the movie he won for. But then again, it makes sense that he won for that. I think that is his best performance, but he's had so many other good ones that I am a little surprised that is the only one he has won for. But yeah, I got to go with McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club in 2013.
All right. I know it's fun to jump around. I'm going to go straight to Best Actor as well.
Okay.
And I'm looking at a list right now. It's I didn't know some of these guys won, but like I didn't know Sean Penn won Best Actor for Mystic River.
Great
movie. It is a great movie, but it's such like a good ensemble as well that like it's a whole good cast overall.
What's his name from Shawshank? Tim Robbins, right? I'm pretty sure.
What was that?
Tim Robbins from Shawshank Redemption. He's in that, I'm pretty sure.
He is.
Is he the guy that they think killed the daughter? He ended up just like murdering a pedophile.
Yeah, and then he got by Sean Penn.
Yeah, I watched that on Netflix in like high school. I was just scrolling through random movies. I was like, wow, this was actually way better than I anticipated.
My favorite movie of all time. Oh, wait, Shawshank.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying Mr.
No, yeah.
Shawshank,
very good movie.
I will give it away. I've been doing my movie rankings. Shawshank is in the top 5.
I love that also.
I've been getting so much shit from people for it because they think it's like I'm ranking it by like greatest movies of all time. I'm ranking it by like what I like to watch. Like I don't really think Pitch Perfect's a good movie, but I enjoy watching Pitch Perfect. That's why it's on the list. If I was going by this, I'd have like Dog Day Afternoon and Psycho in my top 3. I mean, like what are we doing? But
yeah, no, I love that list that you're doing.
So who are you thinking about for this?
All right, so I haven't finished it yet, but I also started watching King Richard last night. It's crazy because also it's weird how many best actors are based on people who played real people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Jamie Foxx is Ray Charles.
Like just
Sean Penn is
like even
Milk.
King Richard.
Yeah, even what's his name? Steve Carell was nominated in 2014 for playing DuPont in Fox.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with one where this guy has, in my opinion, a good range of characters, but when he became this role, he really became that role.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna have to go with Rami Malek and Bohemian Rhapsody.
I was already typing it in when you were. I like knew you were going there because what a great role what a great job he does in that movie.
Yeah. Um, and it's cool. It's interesting when you see a character's evolution through a film. Like he pretty much played multiple characters in that movie.
Yeah.
Like Freddie Mercury as a like that younger, like ambitious singer in the beginning of that film is a completely different person by the end of that film.
And
Like
he looks just like him too in that. Like it's
he
amazing.
does. It's wild. But then
Crazy.
if you watch like Mr. Robot or like anything else, The Master,
Mhm.
like you don't even think like I don't know.
He's great in the new James Bond too.
That's the only one I haven't seen yet.
He's like the new villain in that. He's pretty awesome in it.
And No Time to Die.
Yeah, he does a really good job. And he's in a lot more stuff than I realized. I remember like iRobot's first thing I never watched it, but I remember seeing the commercials all the time, and like that was the first thing I remember seeing him like be a part of.
He's in that new Christopher Nolan movie that has like such a monster cast, I think.
Yes, it's like Bale is in it.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. What's that called? What's it called? Oh, I'm
Um,
looking at it right. Canterbury Glass. It's got Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, Remy Malek, Chris Rock, Anna Taylor-Joy, Taylor Swift, Mike Myers, Robert De Niro, and then just a whole bunch of other people in it too. Sean Avery, Leland Orser, Zoe Saldana, John David Washington.
I like him a lot.
Oh my God. I don't know how good that'll be with like them top loading it with stars.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
I
unless
get
they're just 90% cameos, like,
but they're like all build on it already. Like I don't know. I get kind of sketchy vibes from that just because like when you really load up a cast, unless it's a movie like This Is the End where all of them are playing themselves and it's like
yeah,
where that's like supposed to be the theme of it, I don't have a lot of confidence.
I completely agree with that. Like, the amount of people in that film that have played a main character, from Anya Taylor-Joy, who I like a lot, Robert De Niro, what?
De Niro's the last build guy on that.
Chris Rock. Um, I like Chris Rock as an actor.
Yeah. Great
I
growth.
still have to watch that movie Spiral. Is that what it is? Where I think it's like a thriller of Chris Rock.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
I have not. I know what you're talking about though.
Oh, is it? I think is it based on Saw? Spiral, the book from Saw,
Is
the
it?
book of Saw.
I never saw the Saw movies. I could never get it. I was too scared to watch those. Be real with you.
I think of the. I don't think they're scary at all. They're just more.
They're creepy.
They're like thriller esque. Yeah, they're in the Saw franchise, which is interesting. It's on Stars if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
We got to get
Uh,
back to that. We should start that movie episode kind of thing
yes,
once a week.
I completely agree. So kind of on the theme of that, if we had stayed within 2000, my best actress pick was going to be Halle Berry from Monsters Ball, winning
Okay.
Best Actress. She wins in 01. But with us going within that 20-year gap, I'm gonna go. My best actress pick is gonna be Frances McDormand in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think she's awesome in that movie. It's a pretty crazy movie. Another one. I go into some movies thinking that I won't like them. And this one was awesome. A pretty good cast for a small cast. It was her, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell, and Peter Dinklage was actually in it as well. But what's up?
Sorry. It says Halle Berry is 2002 for Monsters Ball.
I have her 01 on Wikipedia.
Oh, that's weird. I'm using the Today website, like Today News kind of thing.
I see. I'll even if that I'll still take Frances McDormand for this. but she does awesome. I mean, this is her second,
Yeah,
this is her first of two
because
Oscars that she
Nomadland.
wins. She won, yeah, she wins for Nomadland um a few years later, which is pretty cool to see. You don't see a lot of people really ever win two awards. It's a tough thing to come by, and she's,
Especially women, which is awesome to see.
yeah, she's a great actress, and I think this is her best movie is Billboards Outside Ebbing. It's a really,
I like Fargo.
Fargo's good, but this movie, I wouldn't say tough to watch, but it's a one that really like pulls at the heartstrings. A touchy subject about her daughter getting pretty much kidnapped and raped, and like the police do nothing about it. So she buys 3 billboards on the outskirts of town and pretty much writes like, "Why are there no arrests? Like, why have the police stopped looking?" And pretty much just puts a target on her back. And she's just a badass in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, "This is my daughter. You didn't serve my daughter justice, and this is what I'm going to do until my daughter actually gets some justice." So I got to go with Frances McDormand in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri as my best actress pick.
Which is also Cohen's, right? No, that's
No.
something Martin McDonough or something.
I think so. Yeah, that's Martin McDonough. He wrote it, directed, and produced.
Yeah, I like his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You've seen this
Bad.
one?
I have.
Okay.
Bad segue, but speaking of kidnap and rape,
Jesus.
for best actress, I'm gonna go with Brie Larson for Room.
Okay, good movie. Good movie.
Which, I mean, poor segue, but that is like a huge factor in the film. And I don't know how many of these are based on books, but it's the only one that I've read.
Mm-hmm.
And another actress who, I mean, I don't know much about her work previous to this film, but Brie Larson, she plays Miss Marvel, right? Or
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yeah.
Yeah. She's hot. I like her. She's hot.
She looks older in the Room.
Yeah, she I don't know what her age, like you could ask me her age and I could guess like 40 one day and like 28 the next day. Like I have literally no idea.
Well, I mean, 32.
Right in the sweet spot.
She's young.
Yeah. It is she is great in the Marvel movies as Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Brie Larson plays a young woman who's been captive for multiple years by, I forgot the name of the dude, Guy or something. He had a very vague name in the film, but she has a 3-year-old son, a very young son with the guy who captured her, and she pretty much pretends that the child is dead, right? And then wraps him up in a blanket, brings him to the trash. Boy is still alive. He pretty much saves her, and that movie is very like Stockholm syndrome, right? Because she doesn't really feel home since being home, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's like a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing, or it's just like that little room has been her world for so long that it's just weird to like be outside of it.
I know what you're trying to say. It's Stockholm syndrome, where it would be like she's denying that it's happening. Where she like defends the person, like you get blinded by it. Like it's
or at least kind of, I mean, in a way it is, because she kind of misses it because she goes back to it.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a weird movie. I shouldn't say weird, but just a little
weird dynamic.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good pick. She deserved to win that year.
Yeah, you feel that. You know, it's a good actress and a good actress's performance when you actually feel sympathy for that character. Like,
yes.
Obviously you do in a way anyway, because I mean, there's still a script, there's still a movie, but it's with that actress's performance that you actually feel emotional in that kind of role.
Right. So both our best actresses are off the board. Both our actors and your pictures off the board. So I'm gonna save picture for last. I'm gonna go with director next, and I'm gonna go with Ang Lee in 2005 directing Brokeback Mountain. Um,
Okay.
and I have a couple different reasons why I'm picking him for this. And the first one is how how gutsy it was to make a movie like this at the time, because when it really came out, it was like, and still to this day is still billed as like this gay cowboy movie. I think it's a great movie with two absolutely terrific actors with Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal, and for him to make a movie like that where there's a lot of taboo around what this movie was, I think is super gutsy. I'm not gonna say like courageous. I don't think that's a courageous thing to do, but it was a bold thing to do at the time, and he made an absolute masterpiece. I think he did it the right way, where he really captured like the tension between these two characters that were living up on a mountain, and then how they kind of snuck around on their significant other throughout the movie, and then eventually showed the death of Jake Gyllenhaal when other cowboys find out that he's gay and his wife finds out that he's gay. And one of the final scenes, Heath Ledger's like at Jake Gyllenhaal's old trailer, and he's like smelling his jacket. It is a very, I think, strong scene, and I think this is one of the best movies. I think it was the best movie of 2005, even though Crash won Best Picture. But I got to go Brokeback Mountain, or Ang Lee as best director for Brokeback Mountain.
Have you seen The Power of the Dog yet?
I've not.
It's a very similar premise.
Okay.
Power of the Dog, the first thing I thought of after watching it, which literally I watched it 3 days ago, is this movie was very Brokeback. Okay. So Benedict Cumberbatch's character, he's like extremely homophobic for the first 3/4 of the film.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that he's like been a closeted gay, and he's a rancher. Like he's a rancher instead of a cowboy, which I mean, kind of similar. But throughout the whole film, he's been idolizing this one rancher the whole entire time. One guy who I believe has passed away, even when the film takes place. Yeah, a rancher that's passed away, who he's idolized the whole film, and a guy who you think of him just as somebody who he's looked up to and kind of just taught him everything. But then you later find out that they actually had like a kind of sexual relationship. So it's kind of like a Brokeback Mountain, but years later kind of thing.
Gotcha. Oh, it's yeah. That makes sense. I'll definitely have to check that out, because I Brokeback Mountain is one of my favorite movies. And it has two of my favorite actors of all time in Gyllenhaal and Ledger. So, Benedict Cumberbatch is great too. So I'll have to.
And then ironically, that won Best Director also this year.
Yeah, another one. Ang Lee won for Life of Pi in 2012. Another good movie.
Yeah.
So you've got one more. What are you going with Best Actor or Best Director?
How many times has Best Director been won by the same person? Like,
I think 4 is the most. John Ford won it 4 times.
Jesus.
And then there's a lot of people with 2, like Spielberg's 2.
Scorsese probably.
Ang Lee is 2. Scorsese is, I think, 1, which is crazy. Tarantino never. Or Tarantino might be 1. Actually, no, I don't think he ever won.
That's not surprising, unfortunately.
Clint Eastwood is twice.
Spielberg, did you say that?
Yeah, he's twice.
Yeah.
The 3 most are John Ford with 4, Frank Capra with 3, and then William Wyler with 3. But those are all 30s and 40s and 50s. Like it's not much was going on back then.
Oliver Stone got a couple.
Yep. I think the craziest is in 2000, Steven Soderbergh he won for directing Traffic, but was also nominated for directing Aaron Brockovich. So he was nominated for 2
That's crazy.
in the same year and won for one of them, which Traffic's a good movie, but like that, I just think that's baffling. Like to direct 2 movies in the year and have both of them be so good that they get nominated is a pretty tremendous feat if you're him.
What an odd year for movies. Billy Elliot that year. I don't know
Yeah,
if you ever seen that.
it is a bizarre year. I think, in my opinion, I think Gladiator should have won, but
I didn't know. To be honest, I love movies, and I think I know. I didn't know Ridley Scott did Gladiator.
it's kind of surprising a little bit. Not different.
It's different. I mean, it's definitely not similar to the Alien franchise.
Yeah. All right. You've got one more.
Yeah.
You got the best director. Now, are you gonna go Coen Brothers and just take No Country again, or are you gonna switch it up?
No, you want to take a different guess?
Are you gonna go Departed? Are you gonna go Scorsese for The Departed?
No.
One more guess. Oh, you're gonna go Bong Joon-ho for Parasite?
Bingo.
I knew I said that one in my head before, and I just completely forgot about it.
I find it surprising that the one that Scorsese wins is The Departed. Like, I don't think it's his best movie.
I don't either. I think that.
But then again, comparing the rest of that year, sure.
Yeah, I think The Departed has some of like the most plot holes and is one of the most overrated movies of all time. And
I mean, I like it, and I feel like the cast kind of is the reason. What?
The cast carries it.
Yeah, freaking Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson,
Martin Sheen, Leo, and Alec Baldwin.
Mark Wahlberg. But yeah, no. Going with Bong Joon-ho, which I didn't even know that was his name. With Parasite, and that's a really good year too. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, The Joker, 1917, and Parasite.
Before you get into it, what were your thoughts on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I love it.
I think it
gets a lot of
I do like the way Tarantino rewrites history like that. Like Inglourious Bastards, obviously a way history was rewritten. Django the same.
Django kinda.
But this one like is almost so close to it because like the Manson family ends up killing in real life Sharon Tate. But like if Leo never goes out there as like this drunken, has been Western actor and bangs on their car, they end up killing Sharon Tate. I do like how that is kind of like rewritten where it becomes now they're targeting Leo and Brad Pitt's there to save the day after he smoked this acid cigarette. I think that was a pretty cool thing. Like I do love the way he rewrites history like that.
It's interesting. Both Parasite and Once Upon a Time in Hood, it's kind of pretty much 2 different stories that, I mean, at least talking about that Charles Manson like storyline in that movie, 2 things that definitely shouldn't be funny, but they're like, they made him comedic. Like
he always makes his like movies that should be a little more serious kind of funny. Like
I mean, you could have made Parasite kind of creepy, like people pretty much pretending to live, like pretty much just people living in somebody else's home. Like I'm not home invasion, obviously, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are pretending to live in your house. Like that's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it's such a lighthearted film, and you feel bad for the people that are taking advantage of others in a way.
Right.
But then again, still somehow comedic, like toward the end of that film where they're having that birthday party, right? And then the daughter gets like stabbed and killed. But then somehow everything still seems like lighthearted in a way. That is definitely where the movie like definitely takes a turn in a mood way. But that's such a good film. It's one of those films, one of the kind of rare films. Also, it's back-to-back films where are not in English.
Yeah.
With Roma.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right.
Shape of Water. I mean, a lot of Guillermo del Toro stuff isn't English, but Yeah. So best picture, what you got?
So you took mine with No Country for Old Men, and then I
Let me
looked at
take a
like,
guess. Let me take a guess.
all right,
All right, one sec. All right. Um, Green Book, no. Shape of Water, no. Moonlight, no. Um, The Hurt Locker, Slumdog Millionaire,
yeah, that's so I was between three of them actually. I was between The Hurt Locker,
Crash,
Slumdog Millionaire, and Birdman
Million Dollar
as
Baby.
well.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I watched Slumdog Millionaire actually in like my high school history class. We
Yeah.
watched that for some reason. I still don't understand why, but it was a great movie. It's an entertaining movie, and it won that year because like I also think it had a little bit weaker competition, but I think it's the correct movie that should have won that year. I have no issue with Slumdog Millionaire winning in 2008, and I think it's a. I look at with Best Picture, it really gets me riled up and like disappointed because I look at years where some of my favorite all time movies are nominated and don't win. Like the biggest example for me, Whiplash is one of my all time favorite
You
movies.
love that movie.
It's a great movie, and Birdman is a movie I like, but it doesn't win. But it's also in a stack class with American Sniper and Grand Budapest Hotel.
That
Um,
Birdman did win.
I just said, yeah, Birdman wins, but it's in a stat class also with
Yeah.
American Sniper, Grand Budapest, and Whiplash. Like it's a tough one. Yeah, so it's almost like this is a last resort one for me because I was really banking on getting No Country for Old Men, but with that one being taken off the board for me, I got to go Slumdog Millionaire. But not disappointed, just sad that I couldn't get it. But yeah, so that rounds out the draft. You finished with your best director was Bong Joon-ho for Parasite in 2019. Your best actor was Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody in 2018. Actress Brie Larson in Room in 2015, and then best picture was No Country for Old Men in '07. Mine was best director was Ang Lee in Brokeback Mountain in '05. Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club in 2013.
Took mine.
Frances McDormand in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri in 2017, and Slumdog Millionaire Best Picture in 2008. So I enjoyed that. I love, I think the Oscars is a very interesting thing to talk about. And, it does kind of limit you in a draft like this, which makes it a little more fun. You have to really dig deep for it. So I enjoyed that one. This will be up on, drop my water. This will be up on Instagram. So make sure you go vote on the poll of who you think won the draft. Now transitioning a little bit, unless you have any more Oscars thoughts.
No, I'm just taking a look at how many times Spielberg's been nominated and Scorsese.
It is amazing that they both have only won twice. I mean, it is and it isn't because it's tough to keep giving the award to the same people over and over. But if they're the best director or best actor or make the best movie, like I don't know, I think they should get nominated or should win it. But
I love. I mean, I know I'm just looking at way before 2000 here, but Oliver Stone won in '86 for Platoon, which I love that movie. It would have been cool to see David Lynch win because I love David Lynch. Such a weird dude.
Yeah, that would have been cool. There's a lot of different ones that you go back 80s and 90s. There's a lot of I think really good movies that get nominated that are more appreciated after the fact now that weren't at the time. That's why they probably didn't win.
Yeah, like Gandhi won over E.T., which is interesting.
That Gandhi movie is fucking awful. I think that movie is terrible.
I made the conscious decision just to not. It looks so boring.
It's another one I watched in high school history class.
David Lynch was nominated for 2. Elephant Man. I love Elephant Man. Well, it's sad, but
another one like I can't. I'm not good with like a movie
black
like
and
that
white.
where there's like the deformities like in that like somebody like that. I couldn't do a movie like that. I never.
What's with David Lynch and deformities? Because you got Eraserhead.
It's another that is a bizarre choice for him to direct 2 movies like that.
Yeah, and then like I was telling you about my current job right now, I was looking at a comic earlier for that came out for it was a comic adaptation of the original Dune for
Mhm.
David Lynch.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome.
All right, what you got? Sorry.
Chael Sonnen.
Yep.
So a few months ago, came out that, or it didn't really come out. It is kind of feels, I don't know about you. You're more plugged into UFC than I am. So I'm reading about it today. He was charged with 11 counts of battery in a Vegas hotel. Originally, it was said that he was defending his wife. A new report says that his wife was actually in bed asleep. And now what's coming out too is that he attacked a couple just in the hallway. They said it was like he was a zombie that ran at him, whether he was drunk on sleeping pills. Because it's also reported that his wife took an Ambien or another type of sleeping pill before she went to bed. So maybe he got into that and just was completely fucked up. It was just like he was in a fit of rage that and was just in a trance, couldn't get out of it. So it's not looking good for him from what I've been reading now. I don't know how this is gonna kind of turn out for Sonnen. I see. I like him. He's one
Uncle
of the few
Chael.
guys I know in the UFC. He's hilarious to listen to. I mean, if this is all true, this is not good for Sonnen with 11 counts of battery.
All right, so there's a couple reasons. I don't know if I'm just extremely ignorant about this just because of how much I like Chael,
I think this does cloudy a little bit of your judgment. I'm not going to say all,
but
but I think that it does play a factor.
there's just some weird things. Like, I don't know if you knew about the original reports of this.
Okay.
Like you said, this came out a few months ago, and so same kind of thing like the Chris Rock Will Smith thing. I wake up one morning, look at my phone, and a video comes up, like kind of goes viral of Chael with his shirt ripped off, handcuffs, walking down a hotel floor. I don't know if you've seen that video.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 5-second video.
Yep.
And a lot of people were speculating, like, wait, this doesn't look good. What happened? Blah, blah, blah. But then the original reports, which is one big reason why nobody was really surprised that all the initial charges were dropped, because the original rumors were Chael Sonnen beat up 5 guys in defense of his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Those, like, I feel like there's an in between before the original story and this new story.
Yeah.
Because
Originally it reads that he was hit with 5 battery citations, and now it's been bumped up to 11 counts of battery. So I think where it has escalated now is it went from, like you said before, where it was he fought off 5 guys that were to protect his wife. It's now turned into more, the story has changed where it was like Sonnen went on an absolute rampage and was just anybody in sight was just tooling on him. And I mean, if this is true that's come out, I mean, it's a pretty horrific thing that this couple has said, that the woman claims she slid down the wall, tasting blood in her mouth as she fell to the floor. And the guy said, we were just walking into our room to plan a sushi dinner. We did nothing wrong. And this guy went on a quote, a crazy rampage. And it was an
just saying,
unprovoked attack.
it's always fishy when people give that much detail.
I don't know if it is. I mean, Brett,
Just
if
saying,
they were fucking lumped up, I don't think these people would be lying. But because we also got to look at
they're
too,
waiting for that check. They're going for that money.
with the amount of security in Vegas hotels. And this didn't sound like the Motel 8 at the very end of the strip. The way they make this hotel sound like it's this luxury hotel, the security in that thing must be off the walls. So, I mean, all the camera footage is going to be collected and used. So, I mean, these people are going to be found out as either liars or
Yep.
they got their absolute asses kicked 5 ways, like all over the hallway, and were just bloodied. So, I mean, I do tend to believe the people in this situation that did get their absolute asses kicked. But then yeah, a lawsuit has started, so you never know what money aspect they're going towards. But I do in this currently right now, with the information I have, I am going to believe them.
Yeah, that's fair. And again, I'm not saying I 100% believe Chael. 100% believe the couple. I do believe there is somewhere a between there. Like, I strongly don't think he hit a woman. I really don't.
But the way it is reading was that he was like
Do I
blackout
think
drunk or
what could have
drugged out.
possibly happened is he was fighting the dude, somehow pushed her out of the way, and somehow like bit her lip or something? I don't know, maybe.
In a recent interview with the Las Vegas Review Journal, the Stelpflugs accused Sonnen of attacking them in the hallway at the Four Seasons Hotel shortly after the initial alleged encounter. Christopher alleges he was the main target and that Sonnen hit him with elbows during a scramble on the ground, that Sonnen at one point put him in a chokehold. As Julia attempted to stop the chaos, Sonnen allegedly threw her against the wall and punched her in the face multiple times.
I just find that hard to believe. Like,
Brett,
that's
freaking
but
oh my God.
so I'm gonna say this also. It's what happens normally when somebody is accused of these things. What does the person that's being accused, where are they normally in the limelight? Are they normally hiding, or are they normally being vocal, like their normal day-to-day basis?
Yeah, but Sonnen's not. It's not like this was Conor McGregor. I mean, if we're being real, if
What do you
it's
mean?
two different stardoms, I think McGregor
Well,
is
no,
a
I'm
bigger
saying, well,
star than Chael Sonnen.
Chael is more media vocal than Conor McGregor.
But who, if you went up to 100 people and asked who's Chael Sonnen and who's Conor McGregor, I'm
No,
gonna
that's not what I mean. I'm saying like Chael's like YouTube channel. Like, for example, like
yeah.
Chael has his I do believe he's been suspended from ESPN until this is situated, but like from interviews to his personal YouTube, everything, even stemming from like since yesterday, like nothing has been different, which I just find odd. Like, it's weird when you're what?
Well, another thing that doesn't look good for him is he says he, quote, doesn't remember anything from the night, which
That's not good.
versus denying it and not remembering are very two different things in the court of law. If he has to go in front of a jury for this, that's not a good look.
That's not a good look.
If I'm him, you come out the gate swinging. Obviously not swinging because he punched a woman last time he was swinging, but you come out the gate denying. You deny if you're him. Not remembering is not great.
That's not great, but I feel like there were witnesses the first time, which is why it's a little confusing too. Like when it was the 5 dudes one.
Yeah.
How do you go from fighting 5 dudes to beating up a woman? Like where, like,
well, he didn't go out of his way to beat up this woman. It was
okay. I'm still saying, like, how do you go from
break up the fight between her husband and Sonnen, who had her husband in a chokehold.
Okay, but it still says punch her in the face. Like, that's
well, he did.
Still beatable.
In the stories, multiple stories, he did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. How do you go from like one story a few months ago from defending your wife, beating up 5 women, to punching a woman in the face, beating up one guy? Like, it's just fishy. Like, I'm not saying either of them happened. I'm not saying either one didn't happen, but I just feel like there's somehow a middle ground there. And there also weren't any rumors of like the I don't remember back then. And Chael was so calm and collected even after that initial arrest, which I just feel like, and again, was right back to his normal day-to-day basis, which I don't know.
Yeah, but I also think this does go back a little bit to the Will Smith thing. If you're a little bit of a star, it does go away
Absolutely.
a little bit. I think that definitely plays a factor in it. I'm not completely believing everything that happened, but with the amount that's coming out, it does not look good for him, because it also has soon after a security guard, a hotel engineer, and another man staying at the hotel all attempted to intervene. According to an arrest warrant, Sonnen punched the security guard in the throat and punched the engineer in the face. Police said at least 3 people were hospitalized. Sonnen was initially charged with 5 counts of battery, but those charges were dismissed in January. In subsequent court filing March 14th, Sonnen was charged with the felony count of battery by strangulation and 10 misdemeanor counts of battery.
The Westland, Oregon gangster does that.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. I'm interested to see how it
curious.
goes.
I am curious to follow this case though and see what actually happens. I think it'll move along pretty quick. We'll see more and more.
I'm interested. Sorry.
I don't think he'll be back at ESPN if in the future if
he's convicted, hell no.
Even if it's like half the charges, I don't think he's there. Even a quarter of the charges, because that's a tough thing for ESPN to bring him back. I understand he's good at his job, but that's a tough look for them, especially ESPN has not had the cleanest track record with employers with sexual assault in the past. And now you're bringing a guy back that was just convicted of battery or strangulation charges. So it definitely won't be a good look for Sports Center.
Yeah, there's two. Well, he has his own show, literally on ESPN. The Chael Sonnen show. Well, there's two things that I'm interested to see if they happen moving forward. One, an actual arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Two, what evidence will be brought moving forward.
Yep. And I see, and that's where I also get like, I do come to your side of the street a little bit and get a little fishy. It's like, I think this should all be very well documented by the security camera in the 4 seasons in Vegas, which I imagine is a pretty locked down hotel. So that's another thing where I do get a little suspicious, but I mean, also they don't come out with everything right away, but for the charges to be dropped is definitely a tough thing. But I don't know where this is going to go. I mean, we could never hear about this story again, and Sonnen could be back to work at ESPN, or he's convicted of all 11 charges. I don't think there's going to be a middle.
I will say this, comparing it to the Will Smith thing, and let's say 5 dudes said something about his wife, which that was the initial rumor.
Yep.
Chael Sonnen is obviously not Conor McGregor level, not Will Smith level. He's a successful, famous dude. Yeah. He should not be fighting 5 dudes for whatever reason. He should be like taking the high road and going the other way. Yeah. Like I'm probably biased. I'm probably ignorant for the extent of whatever it is. But at the end of the day, whatever did actually transpire, if he did fight anybody, he shouldn't be fighting anybody. Like, you're a professional fighter. These are just 5 dudes. I don't care if you're a retired Uncle Chael. Go the other way.
Yeah. And the other thing that doesn't look good for Sonnen in this case is the change that 5 guys said something about his wife to now his wife was asleep for the entirety of Chael's alleged rampage throughout the hotel. That's not a good look.
Yeah.
So I think, do you have anything else tonight?
Free Chael. That's all I got.
Not an endorsement of the pod. That's a Brett endorsement, not an endorsement from the entire podcast.
I'm not saying free.
I want to see
potential.
I want to see
woman
how you spin this.
Not free potential. If he's innocent, free him. If he actually did punch women, lock him up. I don't support that.
Good take. Good take.
Like, John Jones should not be. John Jones should probably be in prison.
John Jones is a piece of shit. John
Jones has hit pregnant women with his car. Like,
I know you like the UFC, but I mean,
I don't like John Jones as a person.
Dana White's background of bringing fighters in is so shady and shitty. Just like
character, not even bringing fighters in. He's shady on like, even if something transpires while they're still a fighter.
My biggest example is he brought Greg Hardy, and Greg Hardy was taken out of the National Football League. And I know everybody in that UFC hates Greg Hardy, but
he's already let go.
I know, but Dana bringing him to the UFC,
terrible.
That's such a bad look. Like, and he wasn't even like that good of he wasn't a good fighter either. Like,
he got knocked out 3 times in a row. That's why he fought out of his contract and got let go, supposedly.
Yeah, it's bringing a guy like that and just like some of the scumbags. Like, I mean, even Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is a scumbag.
He punched an old dude in the face at a bar.
Conor's a terrible person. Like, and
not a good person. Threw a dolly through a bus.
Yeah, like what is going on? Like, not a great crew. That I wouldn't want my if I had a sister or a daughter, I wouldn't want them hanging around some of these UFC fights.
Masvidal.
I'd go Khabib maybe. Khabib seems all right.
Well, I'm saying like Masvidal, he just punched Kobe outside the
Oh yeah, no, Masvidal's out. I'd say Khabib maybe. Khabib seems like an all right guy.
Habib, after his fight with Conor, jumped out of the octagon and started beating people up.
Fair. Yeah, see, you're
They're
proving my
all
point for me.
crazy.
You're proving my point for me. You're proving it.
Dude, no, I'm agreeing with you on that.
Yeah, and
No,
that's also me. I'm also being a bit of a hypocrite about this because I'm also a huge fan of the NFL, and like a,
yeah,
a good amount of those guys are they've had some issues with the ladies in the
yeah.
past, but like
Take
usually they're taken out of the league by then. Like Ray Rice never played again. Greg Hardy never played again. Um,
Yeah,
but then you get Deshaun Watson, just got a huge deal. He's still got 22 accounts on him.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that's my soft spot when,
Mhm.
or that's when I actually feel something specific when, like Greg Hardy, for example,
Mhm.
my like Zoe and I were like the Colby Masvidal fight that was when we were in Atlantic City.
Yep.
So we were watching that weekend, and Greg Hardy was like the second or third fight on the main card. We
Mhm.
were actually watching that fight at the Candy Sugar Factory.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Um
awesome.
yeah, no, we just wanted one thing, and that was to get Greg Hardy knocked out. That's why she's a fan of Tai Tuivasa, because he knocked out Greg
The
Hardy.
shoe guy.
That's the shoey guy.
I watched that fight actually. I watched that one between Hardy and him. I
that
remember.
was a that was a Connor fight, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sean
Uh,
O'Malley, I think, was on that card.
yes. Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, I don't got anything else. I had fun doing this episode today. I enjoy the Oscars and I enjoy talking about scumbag UFC fighters. Anything else from you before we log off?
All right. Fuck the scumbag NFL players too. And some
Fair,
NBA players while we're
fair.
at it.
Yeah, NBA is taking it or leave it. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna defend the NBA. I mean, if Deshaun Watson was playing for the Vikings right now, I would not have brought his name up.
Dude, Mike Tyson, bad person.
Mike Tyson,
Convicted rapist.
Mike Mike Tyson is a rapist and a woman beater, and everybody's like,
Yep.
"Oh, he's so cool. He was in The Hangover." I'm like, "What?
Dude,
This guy is a piece of shit."
did you see his new edibles that came out with the
I was dying. I saw that.
dude, poor Holyfield.
It's literally a meme now. It's like anytime, like me and my friends will be messing around, like pretending to box. I'm like, oh, like somebody will say just like, oh, I'm gonna bite your ear off. Like it's a joke now. Like, no, his ear got bit off. Like,
Is it the new Bandit?
yes.
I mean, let's bring back the movie podcast or movie episode of the week.
Yes, I agree. Do you have a movie you want to recommend? Because I did Monster Ball first.
We talked about doing Chinatown. We never recorded that one, so let's just screw that one.
All right.
Do you want to do another movie that came out this year and on HBO? Do you want to do that movie, Drive My Car?
Yeah, that works.
I think it's like 3 hours long, but we can do it.
That's fine. So do you want to do that actually just part of the podcast? We'll do like that as like
Sure.
the first 30 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
Or like however long it takes. Like no real. Yeah. So Drive My Car will be on for next week's show.
Yep. Let's try to do this weekly.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I think we'll keep it more consistent this time. Whenever I'm like studying or doing homework, I kind of have a movie on in the back. Like I've watched so many new ones recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pumped. So Drive My Car for next week. And thank you for listening to this episode of the My Parents Office podcast. Make sure you follow us on social media at My Parents Office on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. My Parents Office podcast on Facebook and articles from the office on Substack. Thanks, guys. Okay, hang on.
That was a good one.
Hang on one second.